To this point, we've taken a look at setting up JobMaster with the information it needs to perform its work for you, to enter customer information, develop quotes and sales orders, and to organize purchasing, entering vendors, developing requests for bids, purchase orders, and receiving product. Now we will move to actually producing product, creating work orders and shop travelers, and shipping the product and tracking it once the work is done. First of all, we'll take a look at creating a router or a shop traveler, sometimes called a work order, which of course is the document detailing the step-by-step procedures required to produce a particular product. This can be printed out as an actual printed document to be passed from workstation to workstation on the production floor, or can be created internally in the computer with each step followed and signed off electronically. Before we do that, however, there's an important question that needs to be answered. And the question is, how does JobMaster know when a router or shop traveler needs to be created to produce a particular product? To answer that question, we need to take a final look at a sales order. I'll go ahead and open up the sales order area, and we'll select a sales order, in this case number 2, and open it up to show how the system knows that a shop traveler needs to be created for a particular sales order. There are 2 line items on this sales order, and we'll select one and take a look at it. As you can see, each line item of a sales order has a box which can be checked, which says router traveler. If this box is checked, when the sales order is okayed and entered into the system, this line item automatically goes to a list area of shop travelers or routers that need to be created. So that's how it works. It's all automatic, and we'll now take you to the router traveler area and show you that list area from which router travelers are created. This also prevents any line item on any approved sales order from falling through the cracks. In other words, getting into the system and not getting entered into production. I'll go ahead and cancel out of here. We'll move out of this particular sales order, close out of the sales order area, and now we'll take a look at creating a router and shop traveler. Clicking on the Router Shop Traveler button takes us to this screen, the list of routers and travelers. As I mentioned, the terms routers, shop travelers, work orders are interchangeable, so for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll use the term shop traveler or traveler just to keep it simple. As you can see, this screen contains a variety of elements. First of all, there's a listing of travelers. Here on the right are 3 buttons, and by clicking on them, an operator can see a listing of travelers in different configurations. The first button says All Routers, Travelers, All Revisions. Clicking on this button will give a listing here of all the routers and travelers and all the revisions ever issued by JobMaster. Clicking on this button will give a listing of just the open routers and travelers with all revisions. Clicking on this button, Open Routers, Travelers, Current Revisions, will give a list of just the routers and travelers that are open, in other words, not completed yet, and all the most current revisions to each of those routers and travelers. Once the appropriate listing has been selected by the operator, a particular traveler can be found simply by using the scroll bar or by clicking on the down arrow and locating a traveler by number, description, part number, or sales order number. In addition, barcoding of the travelers is active in JobMaster, which means that a traveler can be barcoded, and the barcode on the traveler can simply be swiped to open the traveler to either begin work or to move it to the next step in the production cycle. The buttons at the bottom of the screen allow the operator to create a new traveler, to edit an existing traveler, to revise a traveler, or to delete a traveler. There are 2 ways to edit a traveler. One is to select the traveler that you wish to edit from the list here, of course, and then to click on the Edit button. This brings the traveler up on the screen, and the operator can make whatever changes they desire and resave the traveler. The original traveler, in this case, disappears. If the operator wishes to save the original traveler and do a revision, then the operator selects a traveler from the list here and clicks on the Revise button. The traveler then appears on the screen as a revision. So if the original traveler was, say, traveler number 101, the revision would appear on the screen as number 101-1. And the changes can be made on the revision, and the revision will be saved and kept along with the original traveler. As many revisions to a traveler can be made as the operator wishes to make, and if the revise button is used each time, a complete track and record is made of every revision to the traveler. To illustrate all the features of a ShopTraveler produced by JobMaster, we'll take a look at one that's already been filled out. However, before we do that, I'm going to click on the New button here to show you how a new ShopTraveler is originated and created. Clicking on the New button takes us to this screen, the list of open jobs which need a new router traveler. This screen ensures that no job from an approved sales order which has been entered into the system is going to fall through the cracks and not get into production. As you recall from our review of the sales order, each line item on a sales order which needs a ShopTraveler created, in other words, each line item which needs to actually be produced by the production line, can have a check mark put in a box which automatically moves that line item into this list of ShopTravelers which need to be created. When a ShopTraveler is created, when one of these items are selected and a ShopTraveler is created from it, the item is then removed from this list. So this list is always a listing of the jobs for which a ShopTraveler needs to be created but has not yet been created. As you can see, there's various categories along the top here which identify elements of this particular job. Part number, job number, description, sales order, revision to the sales order, if any. I'll use the bar here to scroll across. The customer name and the pricing. We'll scroll back here. And we will select one of these jobs. We'll go with number 105 and click on the Create Router Traveler button. Clicking on that button brings up this screen. The Router Traveler has been created and saved. Clicking on OK brings us to the Router Traveler screen. And the dialog box says, do you want to update material inventory when the Router Traveler is saved? This is asking us if when we've selected materials to produce this job, we want to update our inventory. In other words, deduct from inventory the materials that we're using to create this particular job. In this case, I'm going to answer yes, which means any materials that are used to create this traveler will be deducted from inventory. So as you can see, in terms of inventory control, it can be done right from the JobMaster or the traveler creation area. In addition, if using materials here runs the inventory levels below the minimum levels set when the inventory was entered, the operator will have a chance to produce a purchase order if they desire right from the ShopTraveler area to order more inventory or do it later at their option. I'll go ahead and click on Yes here, which clears the screen and shows us a ShopTraveler in the process of being set up. I'll go ahead and close out of here now, and we'll go to a ShopTraveler that's already been created so we can review the various elements of the ShopTraveler itself. I'm going to click on Close here, which takes us back to the list of routers and travelers which have already been created. We will select this one and we will take a look at it in terms of a completed ShopTraveler. As you recall from our previous discussion that any traveler can be selected from our list of travelers here depending upon what type of listing the operator determines, and that traveler can be brought up on the screen and reviewed by clicking on Edit, and changes can be made by using the Edit button as well. The scroll bar, of course, runs us up and down the list of travelers, and actually I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pick this traveler to edit. It has quite a few features that I'd like to show you here as a demonstration of how the traveler works. So I've now highlighted this traveler, and I will click on Edit, which brings us to this screen, which is the router traveler I have picked. The dialog box asks me if I want to update material inventory again if I make any changes here which might affect inventory. I'm going to go ahead and click on No so we can go into the traveler itself. But you can see that JobMaster tracks inventory control throughout as as routers and travelers are created and edited or revised. I'll go ahead and click on No, and we'll move into the Traveler itself. Clicking on No clears us into the main Router Traveler screen. This information here, job number, order number, part number, and so forth, automatically drops in to the Traveler as it's being created from the sales order line item that has to be produced by this Traveler. As you can see, there are numerous areas for customer technical notes. You can enter the PO number, and there's 4 optional fields which can be filled out with data specific to this particular production job. Here you see 4 tabs which are used in creating the Traveler: Material Description, Operations, Inspections, and Graphic. Clicking on the Material Description tab brings up this screen, which is already up. It defaults up to the first tab. This is where the operator selects the various materials to be used in completing this job. And as you can see, they're available from drop-down menus. As you recall, during setup, we entered all the materials that are used in producing the various jobs. So now the operator can simply click on the drop-down arrow, select the material that is to be used for the job, put in the quantity, and they're ready to go. This can be printed out individually from this tab area to be used as a pick list for the inventory department. To enter a new material, the operator just clicks on New Material, gets a screen here with a drop-down menu, selects the material from the drop-down, and it automatically is inserted into the ShopTraveler. The quantity is entered here, and everything is set to go. The Operations tab is accessed by simply clicking on it here. And now here is a step-by-step list in sequence of all of the operations required to complete this particular job. To enter a new operation is very simple. The operator simply clicks on New Operation. JobMaster then inserts the next step in the sequence, number 3. The operator picks the new operation from the list of operations which was entered under Setup, as you recall from our previous discussion of the Setup area. The operation code automatically drops in here, and this can be a number or an actual verbal description, along with the memo describing in detail exactly what is required to do this operation, and that prints out on the ShopTraveler. The target date, which can be filled in here, the department that is the one to complete the work, whether or not an inspection is required, which defaults in from the write-up of the operation done under Setup, and an area to check when the inspection is completed if one is required, and the date it is completed, along with any notes that the operator or production people want to add when a particular step is completed. We'll go ahead and move the scroll bar back to the left, and we will move on now to inspections. So you can see that here under Operations, which can be printed by simply clicking on the Print button, are set up quickly and easily by an operator from the drop-down menus. A ShopTraveler can be created very quickly using this technique. We'll now move on to inspections. Clicking on the Inspection tab takes us to the area where inspections are automatically set up depending on whether or not the operation requires an inspection, and inspections can be logged as they are completed here electronically, or the inspection log itself, uncompleted, can be printed out simply by clicking on Print and follow the ShopTravelers as it moves through production to be filled out by the various inspectors who inspect each operational stage that require an inspection. By scrolling across, you can see that we have the sequence, the operation code, the description of the operation, the target date for completion, and the department if that's filled in, and whether or not the operation is accepted or rejected by the inspector, whether or not it's been completed, the date completed, and any notes. And this inspection sheet can either be filled out electronically here or printed out simply by clicking on the Print button. We will now move on to the Graphics tab. Clicking on the Graphics tab takes us to this area. JobMaster does allow for the attachment of a graphic to the ShopTraveler and will accept any graphic that has been saved in a format recognized by Windows, such as JPEG. If you have other graphic formats that you save graphics in, such as designs or CAD CAMs, you'll have to test it. But again, JobMaster will accept and attach to a ShopTraveler any graphic that is recognized by Windows as being in a Windows format. And you can see here that this area allows you to delete a graphic or to find a graphic by the path where you saved it on your hard drive. And once you've found it, you simply click on it and it attaches to the ShopTraveler. You can see there are buttons over to the right-hand side of the ShopTraveler setup screen called Lot Split and Status Report. These are both very important and useful features of JobMaster. First, we'll take a look at Lot Split. Lot Split is designed to quickly, easily, and effectively allow an operator to split up a ShopTraveler into multiple ShopTravelers. Let's say, for example, that you have an order in your shop for 50 units, but the customer only wants delivery of 5 units each month for 10 months. You create a ShopTraveler for the 50 units and then click on Lot Split, which takes us to this screen, Router Traveler Lot Splitter. This screen offers the operator a fast, easy, and convenient way to split up a traveler into multiple travelers, each tied into each other sequentially. To follow this example through, our customer here has requested that their order of 50 units be split up into shipments of 5 units each over 10 months. The operator here has created a traveler for 50 units to be produced, but by simply going here after clicking on Lot Split, typing in 5, and clicking on Split It, this traveler of 50 units will be split up into 10 travelers of 5 units each, all sequentially tied into each other, which can be entered into production one after another as the product is needed to ship to the customer. This is a terrific feature both for production and management, as it means that units can be produced as needed for shipment rather than being produced all at once and sitting in inventory until they're shipped to the customer. I'll go ahead and click on Cancel here, and we'll move back to the previous screen. The Status Report feature is the final feature we'll need to examine here in the ShopTraveler creation area. If a company needs to report routinely to its customers on the status of their job, that is, where they are in the production cycle, or if a company needs to review jobs internally, daily or weekly or monthly as to where they are in the production cycle, this Status Report feature is invaluable. Clicking on the Status Report button with a ShopTraveler for a particular job selected, as it has been here, will produce a report of exactly where that job is in the production cycle, how many production steps it has gone through, and how many steps remain to be completed. JobMaster knows where the status of a job is if the status information is entered into the system as a ShopTraveler which has been printed moves through the production floor, or if the ShopTraveler is barcoded and the barcode is swiped each time the traveler moves from production center to production center, or if the production status of a particular ShopTraveler is entered electronically into the system on a daily basis as the ShopTraveler moves through the floor. In sum, then, JobMaster can produce an up-to-the-date report on the status of any job with a simple mouse click. As long as the status of that job has been input into JobMaster, either from workstations on the production floor, or by swiping the barcode on the ShopTraveler, or by the simple expedient of simply typing in the status of a printed ShopTraveler that is moving along the production floor. That concludes our look at the ShopTraveler area of JobMaster. I will now click on OK, which moves us back to the original list of routers travelers, and I will click on Close, which takes us back to the main menu. Again, as was mentioned previously, to take a look at a great example of a completed ShopTraveler with all of its elements, just print out the reports file, which prints out in a Word document. This reports file, which contains all of the core reports of JobMaster, is located on the demonstration training CD, which you're using to view this if you're using our CD, or is at the download site where you downloaded this demonstration from our website. We recommend very strongly that you take a look at this reports file, as it illustrates very clearly the functionality of JobMaster and all of the elements and reports contained within the software.